Doctor Who Father's Day, the 8th episode of Series 1, is written by Paul Cornell and starring Christopher Eccleston and Billy Piper. So Russell T Davies and the producer Phil Collinson, they came up with this idea like a great time travel story with emotions and showing why Rose is a good companion. This episode is actually Billy Piper's favourite episode, which I can see why. So we have Peter Tyler, Rose's dad, played by Sean Dingwall. And I think he did well perform there, because he has a resemblance to Rose. I don't know how they did it with the casting, but they did it. Apparently when Rose mentioned that her dad was born in 15th of September 1957, the actor in real life was actually born 24th of March 1970, so pretty much 18 years. Wow. Also, the actress who played younger version of Rose, she also played the younger version of Billy Piper's character in Mansfield Park 2007 movie, which is really cool. Plus it's like if they get James McAvoy to play a younger version of Picard like he did with Charles Xavier, when the older version of both of those characters is played by Patrick Stewart. So the Doctor and Rose lands in London 1987 to meet her dad. When he got knocked over by a car and sadly died when the ambulance got there, but when they went back to that moment of time, Rose decides to run and save Dad, which changed the history of timeline, and the Doctor wasn't happy about it. Apparently Christopher Eccleston found it very emotional, because during that time of filming, Chris's dad had cancer, so they had to hold filming so Chris can go and see his dad to care for him, which is really understandable. I'd definitely do the same if I was in his position and if it happened to my dad. In the scene where the Doctor and Rose were arguing about the change of history, thanks to Rose, originally in the script it was going to have Rose's plan all along to save her dad, but Billy felt it didn't occur to Rose until after she began travelling with the Doctor. In the scene where the Doctor opened the TARDIS door and it was just a police box with jump scare, that is well done, which is improved over the original script according to the writers, when it was originally going to have the TARDIS falling apart, but they've changed it because of the costs. The episode handled really well when there's like a timeline error, when it was like messed up. Especially when the car radio played Don't Mug Yourself by the Streets, which came out 2002. And well, they're in 1987. We also get the phone that was behaving strangely with the "Watson, come here, I need you," with the Alexander Graham Bell's voice, which is the guy who invented the telephone. Oh, that was so good! The moment when Jackie and Peter was arguing, they seemed to hate each other. We also have young Mickey, and that's where we find out that he's a few years older than Rose. As for the Reapers, I really love those monsters. They're absolutely terrifying. Plus this episode, Father's Day, is the very first episode of Doctor Who that I've watched in my life. I was only 6 or 7 when I first watched it, and that my mum tells me about this show, and it's about the alien called the Doctor, and they meet loads of monsters, so I'm like, I like the sound of that, I'll give that a watch. And as I did, and as I loved the scary stuff when I was a kid, like a television movie or movies that you see on Sci-Fi Channel, when it's about monsters and we have people running away from it and having to survive. And I love stuff like that, which is what got me into it, and when I watched it, I absolutely loved it, and I became the fan of the show ever since. I found Reapers terrifying, which I really liked, and love the red eyesight. It shows how scary they are. And I think the effects holds up very well for 2005. The moment when Peter realised that he's met the older version of Rose has performed really well. The acting is so good. In the scene where Rose was holding the baby, which one of the Reaper appeared inside the church and devoured the Doctor, apparently Billy Piper was really scared of holding the baby. I can understand why Rose had to lie to show her dad that he's the best man ever happened to her. When he realises what's going on, he had to make things right by getting himself killed and fix the wound in time, which made the Reapers disappeared and brings everyone who got devoured back to life. including the Doctor, and that's such a sad scene with the death of Peter Tyler. I love Murray Gold's music throughout this episode. I think it fits in perfectly with the scary moments and sad moments. So yeah, everyone forgot about the events of Reapers, and after the timelines are fixed, and the Doctor forgives Rose, and they both went back to the TARDIS. So yeah, I really love that episode. I'm so glad it's the first one I've ever watched, because straight away it showed me what it's about. So, what do you guys think of this episode? Write it down in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.